Okay. So I watched a few people respond to the April 5th hands off protests. There's the 92% stayed home. Black people in general stayed out of the streets because we've known for a long time that um, there's been a plan for a race war about now 2025. So that part. But we also watched, and I guess people, I don't know who's watching this video, if anybody, but I do remember, for example, the Michael Brown protests, and it was all black people out there. I don't remember, maybe there were a few, other kind of people, white people, Hispanic people, but it was predominantly black people. And what I really remember about that march was, or that protest was, there was a black woman. She seemed kind of young, actually, like a young woman. And they had actually had a tank out there, the kind that you have in war, with a gun directed at her. And she had her hands up and she was on her knees. What the reactions of people have been that I've been seeing online, for one, has been the observation and recognition of the contrast between this protest, which was 50 states and like millions of people, white people though, white people. Like you could look at it, you say like 98% white people. And so the people that I've listened to have really, and we knew it was going to happen like that. If, as we talked amongst ourselves, we knew that it would be different if we didn't show up, if they went and protested, that there would be no tear gas, there would be no bullets, there would be no tanks, there would not be police there agitating, attempting to get something stirred up. There would be no white militia kinds of folks showing up, also trying to antagonize. There would be no arrests. There would be no brutalizing of people. And so April 5th came and the protests happened. And so today is like April the 9th. No, it's the 8th. So I'm going to remember two people's responses. There was a sister who responded, and she just was seemingly, sometimes you know something, but it's one thing to know it, it's another thing to see it right in front of you. Noticing that contrast, because she was like, because I've been to marches before and we've marched peacefully. Like these people were marching peacefully, but we were met with brute force, deadly force. And this woman that she had just listened to was a white woman talking about how the police opened up another area for them because there were so many of them out there so that they could march and protest. Contrast that to this young woman saying when they were protesting, they had to stay on the sidewalk, and if your foot hit the street, they would immediately arrest you. That difference, that contrast. She was like, I didn't expect to have this reaction. Like, I knew, but I'm so angry right now, she said. And she was like, they really do hate us. there are some things, and this just feels like that kind of time and space where we are becoming aware of things. Maybe it's because things are so polarized right now. So we're becoming aware of things that perhaps we were not aware of before. Things are so, they are such that we have to adjust because we have to respond in some way. And so that part. So there was another guy, white guy, who was giving his commentary. He was like, he also was a bit stunned and was like, I'm just gonna unpack this out loud. And the one thing that he said that stuck with me is something is off. And he was talking about that same contrast. Um, but for him, he was also, because he went out to protest for Breonna Taylor. That was another protest where the sister who got shot and killed in her bed by the police wrongfully. And instead of them, but there was no justice for her. They didn't get any kind of, and I'm trying to remember that case. It was a no-knock warrant. They had the wrong house, or I think maybe it was for her ex-boyfriend who used to live there. And they just came in the house, and I think her boyfriend was there and was telling them he wasn't him or whatever, but I think they killed him. But yeah, I don't remember the details. I know they ended up killing her. She was in the bed, I guess, because they just started shooting. Anyway, this white guy was at the Breonna Taylor protest, and he remembers all of that. He remembers the reaction of the police. He remembers that there were helicopters out there. He remembered that there were a strong police presence, tear gas, rubber bullets, people getting beaten, people getting arrested. And so he was noticing how stark that contrast was to when he was at this march and there were no black people there. And he said, something is off. I can relate to that feeling. It's when you're starting to, you've had one consciousness and you're starting to become aware of something that's happening, but you can't quite put your finger on it. But you're starting to become aware. So I don't know. I just wanted to come and I guess share that, but also just to make note of the moment, you know, just to really make note of this particular moment. I think what's off is, um, I think I've seen it for a little minute where it looks like things are being orchestrated from the last Trump presidency when we had COVID and he just did nothing. And then it was like they were saying we just need 2 years. 2 years to do what? Well, you notice the whole society changed in a way where now we're online for everything. Who does that benefit? Um, During that time, I think that's when the QAnon thing came up, and now people don't believe in science. Soon after that, I'm just talking about the things I've heard. I'm not saying I'm the most aware person of everything that's going on. But soon after that, you started seeing the trans issue come up. But it didn't seem like it was an organic issue because of the way that it was happening. You know, usually when things are grassroots, they're met with, like I just got finished saying, tanks and deadly force. um, violence. This wasn't met with that. You had Dylan Mulvaney getting awards, and let's normalize the bulge and act and that awareness in schools. Now that's how you know something's not right, because it takes a lot to get content into schools. So to let you know that it was this is something that's being orchestrated from the elite level. That was my suspicion, but now that now that you can see it, you see the administration and you saw all the billionaires behind them. You see Elon Musk show up, and so you can kind of see what's usually behind the scenes. That yes, they are orchestrating. They're doing what they want to do. There's a thing that they're doing, and so you know. Yeah. Now, I think it is the change of the New World Order. They've been talking about that for a while, um, from a spiritual standpoint, but also from a financial standpoint. And so they say that the American empire is ending. And so that's what we are witnessing now, a transfer of power. The United States is being taken out of its previous position of, I guess, dominance and being central to the global hegemony. And so, you know, that's what it is. And the people who have money are trying to hold on to their money, and the hell with the rest of us. And so we'll see what it does. BRICS is the BRICS nations, and that conglomeration is definitely thriving and expanding. So what they call the global South, and I think that's it. I think that's what's happening. So that's it for what I want to say. If you've gotten this far, comments, subscribe, subscribe. Okay, subscribe.